Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Don K. Preston. I'm the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. This is what I call my morning musings. Having a good cup of coffee this morning, actually my second, and sharing with you a little bit about, right now, we've been studying the identity of the land beast of Revelation chapter 13. Some of our viewers from Brazil had requested that we deal with this subject, and we appreciate that request. We appreciate hearing from you on topics that you would like for me to discuss here on Morning Musings. I have suggested to you that we have some indicators, some very powerful evidence in Revelation, in the chapter surrounding chapter 13, and in chapter 13, of course, that helps us identify, if not specifically the identity of the land beast, although I think we've done that, but also that specific framework in which we must place that land beast. Well, let's look at another area on that, shall we? Now, notice in Revelation chapter 13, that the land beast causes others to worship the sea beast and to receive the mark and to worship his image. Well, I've already demonstrated that partnership of persecution between the sea beast and the land beast from chapter 17, and that there's only one historical time that fits that, and that is under Nero, when he was in partnership with Jerusalem to persecute the church. He turned on Jerusalem. He destroyed Jerusalem. That is, Rome did. Now, notice this. So, here's the land beast that causes people to worship the beast and receive his mark and receive his image. Now, notice over here in chapter 13, in the declaration of the judgment of Babylon, Revelation 14:8, another angel followed, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she has made all of the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Then a third angel followed, them saying with a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast and his image and receives his mark on his forehead or on his hand, he himself will drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out in full strength into the cup of his indignation. So, in the judgment of Babylon, those who would receive the mark, those who would be in partnership with the beast, in this persecution of the saints, they would be judged. Now, interestingly, notice all of those who would even worship the beast would be judged in the judgment of Babylon, who caused men to worship the beast. This has to do with what's known as a representative judgment. But here's what I want to get at. In verse 14 and following, we have the coming of the Son of Man. He wears a golden crown. In his hand a sharp sickle. Another angel came out of the temple crying with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, that's Christ, thrust in your sickle and reap, for the time is come for you to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. In order to appreciate this and the power of its statement, the framework of fulfillment, we need to go back to John the Baptizer. That's right, John the Baptizer. Remember, John was Elijah, as predicted in Malachi. But notice this. John said, the one who is coming after me is mightier than me. I'm not worthy to untie his shoes. When he comes, he will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and with fire. And his winnowing fork is already in his hand. Now, you just got to catch the power of this. What is the winnowing fork? The winnowing fork is not the sickle. The sickle is the beginning of the harvest. The winnowing fork is the end of the harvest instrument. John was saying basically the harvest had already begun, but Christ's winnowing fork was already in his hand. Now, folks, the winnowing fork was used after the grain has been cut with a sickle, gathered up, put on the threshing floor, and the wind is blowing. You take the winnowing fork, you take it, and you toss that grain up into the air and let the wind separate the wheat and the chaff. What you've just got to see is Matthew 3 posits the resurrection as already having begun, because the winnowing fork is already in his hand. And Revelation chapter 14, remember, is looking at things past, things present, and things about to be, Revelation 1:19. All of this proves conclusively that Revelation 13, the land beast, Revelation 14, the coming of the Lord at the time of the harvest, was to be in the first century. John said his winnowing fork is already in his hand. Folks, we just can't deny this language. And when we see that harvest was in fulfillment of God's promises to Israel to reap Judah in the last days, then it means that the land beast was, in fact, Old Covenant Jerusalem, Judah. Hey, we got more on this. Do not forget my book, my special book offer. I cover all of this and much, much, much more in my Who Is This Babylon, regularly $19.95 plus $4.95 shipping. Blast from the Past, regularly $4.95 plus $4.95 shipping. I'm offering this package deal, $20 postpaid. Go to my website, www.eschatology.org, BibleProphecy.com. Send me an email, ask how to make payment, and I'll give you the information. You really, really, really need this information. Well, thanks again for joining me. We'll see you on the flip side. God bless.